The word for you today, hey, we're in November. This is Saturday. First Saturday in November. Fall is here, isn't it? The importance of being alone with God. Is it important to be alone with God? Kind of depends on how life's going, doesn't it? When life is going great, we may not give that much thought. But when life is hard, being alone with God takes on a whole new meaning. In Matthew chapter 14, verse 23, telling a story about Jesus, said when he, and that's Jesus, had dismissed them, that's the people, he went up into the hills by himself to pray. When evening came, he was there alone. Jesus gives us a very important example to remember and follow, spending quiet time alone with God. Jesus had just received word that his cousin, John the Baptist, had been killed. He had been beheaded. Jesus was grieving, and he wanted to be alone in his grief. And as he went and sought to be alone, crowds of people followed him, and Jesus looked at them, and in his grief, he had compassion on them. And so he stopped and he healed them and he taught them. And then it would become evening and it was too late for them to go get food anywhere to eat. They had nothing to eat. And again, he had compassion on them and he performed a miracle, the feeding of the 5,000, which were probably more like 15 or 20,000. But there were 5,000 men. And so counting the women and children, there were probably a lot more. And then he sent the disciples in a boat across the Sea of Galilee. And then he caused the people, because of him healing, because of the miracle of the feeding, they wanted to make him king. And he sent the disciples away because the disciples were in favor of that too. Sent the disciples away, and then he gathered the people and said, that's all for today. You need to go ahead and go. And then as he dismissed them, he walked up the mountain to spend time alone with God. Jesus was grieving. Why did he want time alone with God, his Father? He was grieving. He was hurting. And he went to the one person he knew could help him, and that was his Father. You know, there are times we need to be alone with God too, especially when we're grieving. You're grieving the loss of someone or the loss of a dream or the loss of something. Spend time with God. Jesus was tired. He was worn out, but he kept giving and kept giving because of compassion for the people. You know, we get tired too. And we get tired. Go and spend some time with God. Let him rejuvenate you, give you new energy. And then the people were trying to set his schedule. They were trying to get him to become king. They were trying to say, okay, now's when you need to do this. We'll take it. And, you know, there are times when we have people that interrupt us and try to get us on their schedule as well. It's a time when we just need to go and quietly be with God. So where do you go for your quiet time? Do you have a place? Place where you won't be interrupted. Place where you can just be. People are not going to come to you. You can just be alone for a little while. Maybe a little while, maybe a long while. But pick a place and pick a time where you can go and just be by yourself. No distractions. Might be inside, might be outside. Might be a short period of time, might be long. But that place where you go, it might be the backyard, or it may be in a room in the house. It may be in your car. It may be somewhere else. But, you know, if Jesus needed time with the Father, so do we. There was a hymn writer, Wendell P. Lovelace. This was years ago. Remember the phone booths? Remember? Young people don't remember that, but if you remember these phone booths, that's where Superman changed his clothes, right? But the phone booth. And Wendell P. Lovelace was trying to make a phone call, and he went in and he couldn't see the phone number. And as he went in the phone booth and it was dark at night, he couldn't see it, and he's struggling to try to see it. And somebody walking by saw the problem he was having, and they knocked on the door and he said, listen, if you close this door, the light there will come on. So he looked at them, he shut the door, and the light above him came on. He could easily see the number and then call. Well, As long as the door was open and he was open to interruptions, the light didn't come on. Sometimes we just need to get someplace and shut the door so the light from above can speak to us and we can see more clearly how to proceed in life, how to handle a situation, how to deal with maybe hurt or decision making in our lives. The importance of being alone with God is that we get God's help in making decisions. We get God's help in dealing with issues. Sometimes it's in healing. Sometimes it's just feeling better. Sometimes it's making decisions. So it's important to spend time alone with God. Where will you go to spend time alone with God today? Hope you have a good time. Have a nice day.